Well, hello and welcome to Edge Radio Australia. It's time for the Greater Wealth, and we're in what can I say? Strange environments right now. We are right now building our new studios. So, look, he couldn't come in. He's been put in the naughty corner. He's at home or another, probably in his office. Actually, I shouldn't be so presumptuous. It is, of course, the man behind the Greater Wealth, the man behind Blue Sky Factory. It's Derek Whitaker. How are you, mate?
Al, it's great to be here, Aaron. Exciting times. You're building new studios. I'm building new programs behind this to help our clients. It's really exciting times.
It really is. I mean, you is the absolutely the big center word here. So many opportunities. Why not grab hold of them, right?
Absolutely. I mean, people don't realize that we're really into an industrial revolution that's about to unfold. And within that, there are so many opportunities. But if you don't take action, you are going to be left behind because it's not stopping for you. And it's an accelerated rate. We are at an accelerated times. And I don't think people are, I get the sense they're in a sleeping slumber about it all, Aaron. And there's one thing about building wealth. There's also being on your toes. But you've got to really recognize the times you're in and move accordingly. So there are seasons where you need to rest and you need to catch up and you need to do this. There are other times and seasons where you got to work overtime to make it happen. It's like a harvest time for a farmer, right? Well, the seed's in the ground. Okay, cool. Let the rain do its thing. Let it water the earth. Let the seed grow. But at harvest time, it's all hands on deck. You better get that in, and you only got a window of opportunity to do so. And so it's recognizing the season you're in.
I thoroughly agree. And look, next time one of those rest opportunities comes along, can you let me know? Just let me know. I'd be very happy to know about that. Because right now, man, the harvesting is taking all of my time. But as I say, it is just, it's a very clever thing you say, because it is very true. You've got to know when to conserve your energy, because when opportunities, when movement, when the world is moving in a way that you can take advantage of and create a better future for yourself, why would you not jump at it?
Absolutely. And it's so critical you have the foundation in place first. Most people aren't working on themselves. And I find that is a really big concern because, I mean, just put it in financial terms. If you're miserable without money, you're going to be even more miserable when you have a lot of money. It simply amplifies it. And so if you're not working on yourself, improving your skills, your mindsets, who you are as a person, growing in that, then, not only is you're poorer for it, but the world is poorer for it. The world needs you doing your assignment, which is so critically important. I want to just draw our attention today to a situation that is really unfolding super, super fast. And that is not only the world of artificial intelligence, as we know, but couple that, it's like a double-headed steam train going on. And that's the world of quantum computing. And a lot of people are just absolutely asleep to these two opportunities. They're coming at us like a locomotion when you combine quantum computing with AI. Man, it's supercharged. And if we have a look at Trump's executive order, which he signed just recently while he was there at the Oval Office, this is really, really pertinent as to what's going on. I'll just outline it quickly before we see the signing. But he signed two executive orders boosting quantum computing and wanting to develop a powerful quantum computer for scientific research by 2028 and enhance cybersecurity against future quantum threats by transitioning to post-quantum cryptography by 2031. We saw a really bizarre thing happen with Anthropic, one of the AI companies, getting an order by the US government to shut down one of its AI programs just a few weeks ago. And what was incredible about that was that, it was looking at it as a national security. Now, I haven't verified this, but the word on the street was that it had hacked into 3 different banks in the US's AI. Yeah, within hours of being launched. That's what I've heard on the street. I haven't. And of course, being security risk, you're not going to get a lot of information that's quantified.
No, you're not going to get that confirmed, are you? No, funny that. Okay, all right. So shall we jump into that video then?
Yeah, let's have a look.
Let's have a look.
Technologies represents the next generation of innovation across computing, sensing, and networking with enormous significance for our country's economic growth, scientific research, and cyber security. It's really a big deal that we're doing today, and the country is doing really well, as you know. In 2018, I signed the National Quantum Initiative Act into law, which led to doubling the federal government investment in quantum research and development. I think you all know about that. that helped unleash billions of dollars of private investment in America's quantum industrial base, promoting significant scientific and technological progress like we've never seen before, actually. We want to keep that positive momentum going in America with the orders that I'm signing today, and these will really have I think, place it a big step forward. We're already
Okay, right. I don't know if we lost the feed there or that was the end of the video, but what are your thoughts there, Derek?
Well, I think it's again coupling what Trump's been doing all along, wanting to secure rare earths. Why does he want rare earths? Because those are the rails for what AI will be built on, okay, for across the world. So he's doing that.
And Derek, if I can interrupt you for a moment on that, I think that's something we shouldn't just skip through, because, and we're certainly not, but this is not something you're going to hear on the mainstream, the corporate media. They don't really want to talk about this. This acceleration, this need for these rare earths is technology based. Everything comes from the earth. Let's face it, technology comes from the earth. We've got to refine it and turn it into the final product. But by knowing quantum computers, knowing AI, knowing that is the future, whether you like it or not, that is the future. That's the way we're going. By securing that, you're securing your country's future. You're not just its economic growth, but of course its technological growth and a cultural shift as well. So what Trump is doing there, people who will be the naysayers, those who will be negative towards Trump, those who are looking for an excuse to sort of dish hate, if you like, they will be having a go at that. But whereas if you are being honest about it and you're looking at the long-term plan here, this is so clever. This is building for the future. Simple as that.
Oh, absolutely. And I think what people aren't realizing is that it requires enormous energy to run these AI data centers as well. And Trump is allowing basically AI centers to plug in right next to electrical grids, right next to them on the block and this sort of stuff.
Yep.
Whereas the other nations are still harping on about green energy and saving the planet. And it's just totally off where things are going in terms of economically. It's not just going to go there. But I think we also have to recognize it's twofold. It's not just economic power, it's also defense power, military power. And that's what will run it. That's how you have the advantage. And this is where AI and quantum computing is going. Military power prowess and also economic superiority. And that's what you've got to look at here.
Agreed. All right, we've got another video here from Trump. Would you like me to bring that one on?
Well, yeah, it kind of brings out the reason I'm playing this is a huge background to Trump's push, I think, on these kind of technologies. We've noticed a couple of relationships that are going on. We've noticed the relationship he's had with Elon Musk, particularly over the last few years in terms of where that was all going and developing these technologies in SpaceX. We've just had the SpaceX launch, which was really, really exciting for a lot of people. Biggest IPO in the world, but most overpriced as far as economic terms are concerned. Of course, we've seen the price go up and come down. But I want to just point out this is that Trump's relationships are really interesting. If we look into his history and what relationship is there, I want to look into that and dive into the influence that one relative has had that has affected his thinking for today. Take a look.
Okay.
Of my uncle at all?
No.
You didn't?
No.
Sorry, you want to play that again, Aaron? That was halfway through it.
No problem at all. Let's do that.
Did you know of my uncle at all?
No.
So
okay, that's all that's coming through on that one. So I don't know why, but
yeah,
that is it.
It's a short one. Yeah, Dr. John D. Trump was the guy who is his uncle, and he was a very influential thinker in his circles at university. And Trump talks about him quite a lot with a lot of affection. In fact, if we look at the next slide here, we'll have a look at the man who was. This has, the rumors are that he was reading a lot of the writings of course, Nikola Tesla. And
a fairly influential chap.
Absolutely. Of course, from whom we get the big company named after him. Nikola was really interesting. Yeah, pop the picture up. This is the uncle that studied, and the rumor is that he was of MIT and understood and read a lot of the papers that Tesla actually wrote, Nikola Tesla. Nikola Tesla is a bit of a tragic figure. He did not have the economic success that others had of his time, namely, and I think I can see the entrepreneur and I can't think of his name, the light bulb guy. What's his name?
Sorry. Oh, Edison.
Edison, thank you. Edison was more the entrepreneur.
Mm,
But the rumor is that Nikola Tesla invented free energy and had a
yeah.
way of discovering that. And of course, it wasn't economically viable. Well, people wanted to control energy and be able to charge for it. And it's interesting how the world is now coming back to these findings and where it's all going. Now, this has
Well,
had
Derek,
huge influence on Trump.
how can you make money, Derek, out of anything that's free? All right.
Yeah.
So no wonder Tesla sort of died with not a lot in his pockets. Let's be honest. And Edison did rather well from, and that's not a criticism. Obviously, it's a greater wealth. We like people to grow their wealth and grow their freedom. So that's a fantastic thing. But yes, sometimes ideas, like free electricity, cars that run on water, things like that, they're not very good for the economic value of particular shares, are they?
Not the greatest business model for sure.
No.
I understand. But I mean, it also shows you, though, what are we actually, in terms of the resources in the world that God has given us, from water to sunlight? What if people want to tokenize this? People want to charge for this. What is it that we should be receiving for free? And if we could, it would reduce how many limits as we as humanity progressed forward. I mean, imagine if you had no limitations on power, okay, and
Yep.
you could do with energy whatever you wanted to do. You could
Mhm.
travel further, get more done.
Yeah.
It would just increase productivity as well as lifestyle. And that, I think, is what we've got to recognize here. And we're in an age now of not only acceleration, but taking the limits off. And I think it's really pertinent to know the times we're in.
Agreed. I mean, you look in the UK at the moment, well, not specifically right now as far as season wise, but with winter in the UK, and a lot of people, pensioners, were really suffering, not being able to use their heat. People are dying because they can't actually access affordable energy because of this ridiculous, and I mean, this is my opinion, but based on this little thing called science, this ridiculous dream of the green future. Right now, I am an environmentalist. I care about the environment, so this is certainly not a negative thing towards the environment. It's a very positive thing, but you've got to know the resources you have, and you need to know how to maximize them. And the current green dream, and the client cult, as I would like to sort of call it, is very much pushing the price up, and it's causing look, lifestyle is one thing, but people literally cannot afford heating. That's a big issue. So long term, we need to find better ways, and free energy would certainly help out.
And how many of us were told growing up, turn the lights off because it's costing us money to have them on? Well, true,
Well, hang
right?
on.
But
I
imagine
will
if it
interrupt
was
you,
free energy.
if I may. If I may, and my apologies there, my friend, but you are a father. I am a father. Part of becoming a dad is you need to get obsessed about turning the lights off in the house. What's this light on for? What's this light on? Come on. It's just part of dad life.
Absolutely. I remember there was that song, Don't Turn Off the Lights. And I remember somebody who was a
Yes.
bit of an energy freak at the last radio station I worked at, was always saying, yes, turn them off, always thinking about the bill.
It's a passage of fatherhood.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Crazy stuff.
I believe it.
We're recognizing the times that we're in here. In fact, as I pointed out in this next slide, we have a look at this. This image shows where it's going, and it proves the point. Somebody else is excited, or another organization is excited about quantum computing. Take a look at this, where the Department of War put this out on social media: quantum dominance. Where we go one, we go quantum. And so that is really fascinating. Again, it reveals the hand, not only just about energy, but it's also about military power. And of course, can you imagine the world? We've seen the videos of, humanoid robots going out there to battle with military prowess. It sounds like sci-fi. Listen, that sci-fi is now, it's no longer fiction.
It's fact. It's fact.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And I mean, look, I don't want any wars, full stop, whether robots are fighting them or humans. But end of the day, I mean, you look at the massive numbers of men and women who have been lost over how many generations because of war. If you're going to have them, I would rather electronics were fighting them than human beings.
Yeah. Stick around to the end, because I'm going to talk about how this applies to you and I in just a few moments.
Okay.
But if we have a look at further at where this is all going, Elon Musk, if we put up the next slide, he's continues in his dominance. And the rumor is all these Teslas that he's been selling, Aaron, they're actually linked to his AI data centers, right? So, he's bringing out the driverless car.
Yes.
People who buy Teslas are really information gathering for him to put all that together. It's incredible what he's done, linking it up with SpaceX. And then you see headlines like this, where SpaceX showed investors prototype of Elon Musk's new AI device, a sleek handset-like prototype, was designed to integrate AI technology from SpaceX's AI. Now, AI is really driving SpaceX. It's really been the satellite stuff that's been profitable for him. Of course,
Okay.
the Starlink process where it's all connected. And if you can't see the dots lining up here and where it's all going, where you can get internet in pretty much any area of the world thanks to satellite technology now, my friend, it's obvious where it's all going. We're far more connected. And of course, this information, where is it all going? It's going into these big AI data centers.
I'm going to take you on a left tack here. You're a spiritual man there, Derek. Okay. With all of this technology that gets involved, how, and I don't want to make this a 4-hour TED talk, but in a sort of short thing, the separation between ourselves and the electronics and the AI, I think it's something that's really important to maintain. And I certainly hope we can do that moving forward. I hope we can, because AI is with us. This kind of tech's with us. We have to deal with it. We have to embrace it. We have to make the best of it. But yeah, we still have to remember that we're an organic creature. We're human.
Oh, absolutely. I think what we've got to recognize here, there's been a lot of discussion about AI. I think what we've got to recognize is technology is neither right nor wrong. It's neutral. It's the people that drive it, the heart of humanity, that determines what the outcomes are. And look, I have been over the last couple of weeks using a lot of artificial intelligence. And it's what you're using it for, is the intent. And the better the intentions, I'm finding the better results that you get from the technology. And so that's what we've got to bear in mind. But there are times where I've got to unplug and go, I'm walking away from the computer now because, you've got to connect with humanity. Like last Friday, I just took the complete day off. I thought, I'm not going to use this anymore and build it. I know. The luxury of running.
It's got to be done. Yeah.
But look,
very, very true.
Very long days. So this is the thing that we've got to recognize, that this is where the world is going, and it's continually learning. It's fluid. This is the thing about artificial intelligence. It's not static. It's not like, oh, we've got now the internet and we've got to figure out how this puts together. No. This one is increasingly encroaching on our lives, whether you like it or not.
Look, I was resistant, as you know, we've talked about this on many occasions. I was very resistant to AI because, well, so many reasons. And my joking response is very true. I saw Terminator 2. So that's why I've got my resistance to it as quite a premonition in a lot of ways. So from that viewpoint, I tried to, I eased myself in, okay? I bought myself dinner first, and I slid into it very casually. Over the last, I'm going to say 9 months, obviously I've been using it on a daily basis. I've watched the acceleration of it. I've watched how much better it's getting. It is, and it's not happening in increments, small increments. Like in the last 9 months, it feels like it's progressed 10 years in performance.
Absolutely. I mean, 18 months ago to 2 years, I tried it, thought, what can this thing do? And it was kind of like, it's fun. It's a little bit of a toy. It's cute.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing in itself, but I'm not sold on it because it's got errors in it and this sort of stuff. What's happened in the last 6 months has been a massive leap forward. Can you imagine what it's going to be like in the next 6 months as it continually learns, Aaron?
It's learning from itself. It's learning from, which is one aspect of it. The other thing, obviously, again, is as good as the information that's fed into it. So if you want to get the best from it, you need to be detailed about what you're asking it to do and the parameters that you're laying down.
And here's the thing, the world is slowly waking up to it. Europe has been so far behind. If we look at the headlines in the next one, this really shows where things are going. Macron to Modi, governments are rolling out the red carpet for AI giants. And this is really putting the AI bosses in a real position of power because these data centers, ecosystems need to power this tech for their own personal relationships. It's just wanting to move. So there's a bit of a two thing here where AI people need the energy to run this stuff. And these countries going, we need the AI for superiority. The French president hosted AI bosses at the G7 in June and personally convinced SoftBank bosses Masayoshi Son to invest tens of billions of dollars into AI data centers in the world. That's in France. Modi with in India, from India. He met with Amazon CEO Andy Jassy last Thursday, welcomed the US tech giant, record of 48 billion investment in the country. 21 billion would be for AI and cloud infrastructure. And so then you got Modi last year, of course, from India, meeting with Microsoft chair and CEO Satya Nadella and Google CEO Sundar Pichai and Intel CEO Lip Bhutan, all the big shots as far as AI is concerned, all of them committing to help develop India's AI ecosystem because India wants the superiority, well, as far as the economic advantage is concerned. So there is this race. We've had the space race in history, and now we've got the race for AI. And I am concerned about Australia's position on it. The only time that we've really heard about it in Australia is for surveillance reasons. As far as our government talking about it, we've got to change our mindset on this and really think industry.
Oh, look, again, the great thing about Australia with the old she'll be right attitude, no, she won't be right. We have to actually step up. And obviously, everybody knows my feelings about the Albanese government and how they're destroying this country. Surely we need to get people in charge who will actually see this opportunity and go, okay, we've got this wonderful country here. We've got these wonderful resources. Why not travel forward as a smart country and go with it?
Well, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine who is really helping me. We're actually at Blue Sky Factory teaching people how to use AI now. And that's really, really exciting because the jobs are going to disappear if you don't know how to use it. The jobs will go to those who do have the skills to know how to use AI. That I've heard from somebody who has a part ownership in an AI company. That's a direct quote from him. All right. So I'm looking at this and I'm going, this is really, really interesting in terms of what it can do. Now, it used to be that where you were born had such an influence on the wealth that you would acquire, which country you were born. Like if you weren't born in the United States, if you weren't born in the United States, you had a limited ability to, of course, get access to those economies and produce wealth. The other thing was what status you were born into. So like, Silicon Valley, if you weren't born into that space. I was having this conversation with Darren Good, who's helping us teach these AI stuff. He's saying, if you weren't born in Silicon Valley and came from a wealthy home and could get into those circles, then you're at a disadvantage. Well, AI is leveling the playing field right now. And not only that, but there's investment opportunities in this space. And I'm not saying it's not investment advice. I'm not saying try to pick the next winner as far as AI stocks are concerned. I'm not suggesting that at all. But if you get strategic on this in this new era of this wealth shift that I've been talking about, plus what's going on in AI and quantum computing and all this sort of thing, man, the opportunities are huge right now to set up and affect the generations.
Obviously, this is not financial advice, and that's why I've just popped down the bottom there, the blueskyfactory.com.au website. Look, the best education you can possibly lay your hands on really is for moving forward, whether we're talking about your financial future, whether you're talking about finding your life purpose or learning about AI. Education is the absolute secret here.
Well, let me give you this. Drop the .au on the end of that URL and go to blueskyfactory.com and pick yourself up a free course there on AI. Just follow the prompts there. And that's on us. So
are you telling me there's no .au?
I've got a .au, but I've been quietly behind the scenes developing a .com and of course using AI to develop it. So it's not complete yet.
Look, Derek, someone was about to get fired. Someone was about to get fired for having that on there. The problem is it's me.
Oh, I just hadn't updated you. I've been quietly doing this behind the scenes. But yeah, if you can't wait around, we haven't launched it yet. But if Edge Radio people want to get an advantage to that, then go to the .com URL and take a look.
Fantastic. Good afternoon to Damien as well. Good to see you, buddy. Great to see you on board there, and a long time watcher of the show, and a man who is, I'm glad to say, is taken on a lot of the content here, and has been very positive for him. So great to see you there, buddy. Obviously, you can, if you wish to, if you are on the platforms of Facebook, the Edge Radio Australia Facebook page, or the Edge Radio Australia YouTube page, that you're there. While you're there and you're liking and subscribing and all those good little things, you can obviously leave a comment or a question. We love our questions as well, so appreciate that very much, Damien. Awesome. All righty, now I believe you've got another, was it a video or a still that we're going to talk about?
This is a video, and this is, I always find it fascinating what Scott Bessent, the secretary, says on national matters. And I really think this summarizes that the attitude that America is taking, where it's going. But it's such a lesson for other nations and allies to learn from and glean from. Have a listen to the wisdom in what he's quoting. And he's quoting history here.
Okay.
begins with national capacity. We have rediscovered at great cost what Alexander Hamilton taught us around the time of our founding, that every nation ought to endeavor to possess within itself all the essentials of national supply. That our strength, in other words, is derived from what we can build, for the nation that cannot produce what it needs is not truly secure. The nation that depends on its adversaries for critical inputs is not truly sovereign, and the nation that
Right.
Getting some
Here we
lag
are.
there, but it's basically saying that any nation that's dependent on other nations for those critical inputs to where it's going is not in a place where it can determine its own destination and, of course, economic future. And that's really where America is headed back. Of course, America first has been the foreign policy that the Trump administration has brought in. And you can see how it's setting itself up to move forward and be the powerhouse while it celebrates its 250 years of independence.
Yeah. A big day for the Americans just a few days back. Yeah, 250 years. Quite a celebration.
Absolutely.
And as a country that fundamentally, certainly on its structure, is an experiment, right? They're doing it different to the entire rest of the world. So to be successful, and obviously there's things in America that don't work, like any experiment and like anything in life, there's an upside and a downside. But I do like it. I like the direction they're going in right now. I really do. Again, they're building their own sovereignty and their own strength and their own independence.
Well, it's really interesting at this time of the 4th of July celebrations, it's recognizing that freedom does not come cheaply and it comes at a price. And it has to, once obtained, be defended. Otherwise, others will tear it down very, very quickly. And I think with the Biden administration the last few years, there's a lot of nationalism rising at all-time highs within the country. That certainly is celebrating that. And it's ironic how it all comes together 250 years in.
Quite a big date, a big time in America as well. They're now, but also their future. I think exciting times. And why some people will say, "Hey, why, Aaron? Why are you so enthusiastic about America?" Because guess what? I love Australia, and Australia tends to follow America just a little bit. So if they're going to prosperity, and we do the right thing, and we tap into the positive things that America's doing going forward, then it's great for our kids, our grandkids, and beyond.
Oh, absolutely. It's the biggest economy in the world. We share a lot of values with the United States, and particularly saw it as the fellow ally after the Second World War. And that relationship has been enduring through the years. Yes, it's changed with the times from time to time and looked a little bit different. But there's a lot of lessons to be learned from that. And I think, one of the cultural differences that we have in Australia to the United States, and I say this as someone who has appreciated both cultures, and you take the big good with the bad. And there are things about Australia that I love that I think, have the upper hand. And there are times where I think the United States has the upper hand. And one of the things where I think the United States has the upper hand is this. Well, Australians are sitting around wondering if it can be done. Americans are asking, how soon can we start? And I think that is such a different mindset, particularly when it comes to entrepreneurship, investments, that we can really learn from.
Well, if you want to change your mindset and move forward, get onto this guy here. It's running on the bottom of the screen, blueskyfactory.com.au, or you can drop the AU, blueskyfactory.com, and get some of the best information. The courses you do are amazing, and I don't say that with just, hyperbolic rubbish. I've done them. They're amazing. And for a guy like me, I appreciate you holding my hand and taking me through the journey, because it's a lot of people are intimidated by courses like that. They think, it's going to be above my pay grade. And it certainly isn't. Absolutely not. And they're explaining in such a clear, precise way that you quite frankly, I really enjoyed the journey through them. So if you want to change your mindset, if you want to change your future, get on to blueskyfactory.com.au or drop the au.com. Easy as that.
Oh, thank you for that, Aaron. Absolutely. Yeah, we like to look after people no matter where they are in their journey. There's something for everyone.
And you can be anywhere in the world, can't you? Because you can do, like right now, obviously we're building the brand new studios here at Edge Radio Australia. So I'm running out of a very temporary studio and until such time as probably next week, we'll be in the new one. I shouldn't have said that, should I? Putting a bit of pressure on. But
You got to have goals, man.
You've got to have goals, absolutely. So you know what? You can be part of the courses just simply from your phone. You don't need to make excuses. You need to actually take that first step. Action is the first step. So take that step forward and improve your financial literacy and your education that way. Because I mean, this show is obviously about the great clash between politics and finance. And, you know, we want people to define their life purpose. We want people to build a financial future for themselves and their family.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Because what's the point of making all this money, but you don't know what you're doing with it and your world and life is falling apart. So it's
Completely
absolutely
agree.
critical to be in that space. But you know what? I was put on this planet at this time for this reason. And then you just go for it from there.
Sounds good to me. It's the end of the show. Thanks very much for being part of the Greater Wealth here on Edge Radio Australia.